Hello and welcome to Thursday's Thoughtful Thoughts. I've been reflecting on chicken coops and why they only have 2 doors. But then I realized if they had 4 doors, they'd be called chicken sedans. Today we're going to talk about parenting. I have an 8.5-year-old, a 5.5-year-old, and a 5.5-month-old. And so I'm just starting out on this journey. And so I need a lot of wisdom. And in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, Paul gives us a line of wisdom that I want to reflect on here. He says, "Do not exasperate your children, but instead raise them in the training and instruction of the Lord." So what does exasperate mean? Well, the dictionary says to irritate or to frustrate. And I've been guilty of doing both of those things. And in the ESV translation, it says that exasperation is provoking towards anger. And that's certainly something we don't ever want to do to our kids. And perhaps more than ever, we're spending time with our kids. And we need to think about how can we raise them well in these days. So how do we exasperate? Well, first, by giving them too much freedom. We often talk about boundaries, and we know that kids need boundaries, especially right now. I think they need boundaries around screen time. How can we help them with that? Dr. Rob said, give them chores, perhaps by giving them a simple task to do, and then by saying, maybe later on, once we've played together, we'll give you some time to watch something on a screen. My dad always said, work hard, then play hard. Less screens, less screams. Second, we can exasperate our kids by giving them too little attention. How often are we guilty of ignoring our kids when they are in need of our attention? My kids sometimes say, "Dad, stop staring out of the window. What are you looking at anyway?" We need to pay attention to who they are. Somebody once said to me, study your kids, get to know them well. And referencing the idea of screens again, how guilty are we as adults of taking too much time to play on our devices, even if we think we're doing something important. To the kids, the screen in front of us is more important than they are. More attention, more affection. And third, we can exasperate our kids by coming down too hard on them, as Eugene Peterson suggested in the message that we often read from. This verse that he referenced says that sometimes we can be too hard on our kids, and we often think of that in relation to discipline. One of the things that I've learned is that we need to be careful not to be too hard. When we're acting out of anger or frustration, it can often come out in a very inappropriate way. So we need to take time out first before we go back to our kids. Another principle is that if we're going to show them a new direction, it's better to model it ourselves rather than just to tell them. Show them rather than tell them. Then learn to help your kids know when a yes is going to be a yes or a no is going to be a no. Don't keep them guessing. And thirdly, on that same note, be consistent. A consistent home is a safer place for kids. And in that environment, they're less likely to get or to experience exasperation. And those are my thoughtful thoughts this Thursday. Have a great day.